GNC Microbiology online class. Today we'll discuss about the IR spectroscopy, that is infrared spectroscopy, which is very versatile instrument used to analyze the different features of the biomolecules. Well, in the electromagnetic spectrum, when we see this, the IR, that is infrared light, is actually lies in between here. So this IR is very close to the infrared light in the microwave areas. It has the wavelength up to 700 nanometer to the 1 millimeter. And based on the different wavelength range, it can be near, mid, and the far IR lights. Okay? Infrared radiations are these particularly light, which is actually absorb the thermal radiation, which is emitted by the object at the room temperature. That means mostly IR lights are actually used in the night vision cameras, where that cameras, even in the darkness, they can take the image of the object, because the object or the any living things, they can emit the thermal radiation, and that thermal radiation can be captured by particularly IR cameras, and they give the image of that object even in the darkness. To understand this spectroscopy mechanism, we actually have to understand the diatomic molecule structure and its energy levels. When the electrons into the atom undergo the excitation from the ground state to the excited state, it has particularly different energy levels. One is called vibrational energy levels, rotational, and the electronic energy levels. That means they have to undergo the certain different energy levels. So considering the analogy of energy levels with this stadium, it has a particular different story. So ground story is actually the vibrational energy. That means the electrons start from the ground store, okay, reach to the higher energy level. That means the different stores, right? So as we go higher to the different levels of the stadium, okay, there is the last is what the most excited state, that is the electronic energy state. Okay? In the ground state or the lower part of the stadium, there is the vibrational energy or the rotational energy. So these three particular types of the energy levels are generally utilized into the IR spectroscopy analysis. In case of this principle, mostly the bonds between the two atoms is actually this chemical bond. It vibrates like a spring in the ball. This spring and ball vibrations is actually caused due to the incidence of the infrared light over the molecules. Okay, so this vibration particularly can be utilized into the analysis of a sample. These vibrations is called as the natural frequency of vibration. That means the frequency, the frequency which is already present between the molecules, right? So this particular frequency, that is the vibrations, actually it creates, okay, by the bonds between the two atoms, right? So when the infrared light we incident onto the molecules, okay, the molecules start to vibrate along the same as the infrared light. That means the incident infrared light incident onto the molecule, this molecule actually start to behave exactly like the vibration of the IR light. Okay? So in this way the vibration can be produced. Now the next is what is the criteria, how exactly compounds can absorb the IR radiations. Okay, not all compound can absorb, but there should be a certain criteria that can make the compound to absorb the infrared radiation. First is the wavelength of the radiations. Okay, second is the change in the dipole. Now what is the correct wavelength of radiation? It should be same or exactly the natural frequency, the frequency that is already present into the molecule because of the vibration of the chemical bond, and the incident radiation, that is when we add the IR light on that molecule. Okay, when they become equal, in that case the molecule can absorb the IR light. So here we can see this. This is incident frequency of radiation, and this is the natural frequency that is present. When these two couple, they produce the amplitude of high vibrations. That means the molecule has to be to absorb the IR radiation, its natural frequency and the incident frequency of a light, where it should be similar. Then and only the molecule they can absorb the IR radiations, right? So because the amplitude of the radiations increases, right? A molecule, another is the change in the dipole moment. Now what is dipole moment? Dipole moment is any molecule which is having the positive and the negative charges, like this. Okay. So this electric dipole is actually changed when there is the incidence of the infrared light, and because of the change in its electric dipole, they can absorb the higher radiations. Okay. So as I told you, when the energy in the form of incident light and which is present already in the molecules, that is the because of the vibration. So when the applied frequency, that applied light, and the frequency which is already present in the molecule, that is a natural frequency, when they both become equal, in that case only the molecule can absorb the higher radiations, right? So there are two types of vibrations can be produced into the molecules. One is the stretching vibration, another is the bending vibrations. Now stretching vibration is actually, in that case, the molecules, the atoms, they are actually move along the line of a bond. That means they move in the plane of a bond. Stretching vibration can be of two types: symmetric stretching and the asymmetric stretching. So, okay, vibration, as I told you about this, there is the chemical bond that can get undergo vibrations upon the incidence of the infrared light, right? So first is the symmetrical stretching. In this, two bonds generally they increase or decrease in the length simultaneously. That the word simultaneously is very important. That means these two bonds, they can increase or decrease simultaneously. That means both the bonds move in one direction, same together, or in the other direction, same together. So like they move along the plane of a bond simultaneously. Okay. Second is the asymmetrical stretching, whereas the one bond length is increased and another is the decrease. That means one bond moves in forward direction, second bond moves in the opposite direction. So there should be increase or decrease of the bond length along the plane of a molecule, right? So one move forward, another move direct, right? So in this way, this is called the asymmetrical stretching, where the bond length increase or the decrease. Second is the bending vibrations. Bending vibrations is actually where the movement of the chemical bonds is not along the line of a bonds. Right? So there are two types of this. One is the in-plane bending and the out-plane bending. That means the movement either can be in plane or out of the plane. Right? So in plane bending, it is called scissoring and the rocking. There are two types of this. In out-plane bending, there are the wagging and the twistings. So you see these bending vibrations. In plane bending vibrations, okay, scissoring, two atoms approach each other. That means the bond angle, when these two atoms approach each other, this particular reduce. That is, the bond angle is decreased. So these two particular bonds, they can approach each other. Okay, therefore the bond angle is actually decreased. Right? So in this way, the scissoring actually done. It is kind of a scissor, which when we mechanically move the two arms together, is exactly the same. The bonds there move or they approach each other. Right? Second is the rocking, that is the movement of the atom takes place in the same direction. That is, these two atoms moves into the same direction exactly. Okay, so there is no there is a simultaneous movement of the both the one in the same direction, right? So this is called the rocking. Second is the out of plane bending, that is wagging and the twisting. Okay, in wagging, two atoms move to one side of the plane, that is they move up and down side of the plane. Okay, both are moved up and down simultaneously. Okay, and twisting is actually where the one atom actually moves above the plane and another is the below the plane. So in this way, this is called the twisting. So these are all different types of the bendings and the vibrations actually produced into the molecules. Okay, so there is two types of this. One is called symmetric and the asymmetric and the bending. Okay, so vibration and the bending. In symmetric stretching, there is the two atoms moves simultaneously. In antisymmetric, that is the asymmetric, one is moving upward, another moving downwards. Okay, the opposite reaction is there. Rocking, both the bonds they move in the same direction. Wagging, there is the up and down movement. Twisting, there is the one bond move upside, another bond move downside, and the scissoring, the simultaneous movement of two atoms approaching together. So these are the 6 different types of the movement of a bond that creates the frequency, right? So in case of instrumentation generally we have the infrared source. This infrared source, when it strikes, it travels to the different, particularly either it travels to the sample or to the reference. Okay, so the light when incident onto the particularly sample and the reference, okay, it moves to the particular area that is called the splitter. Okay, the splitter is actually blocks the light rays coming from the reference or from the sample. Okay, reference is what is the standard solution of which we can compare with the unknown sample, right? So the light travel in through the sample. Okay, then it reaches to the splitter. Okay, light travels from the reference, then it reaches to the splitter. Now the splitter, so this splitter actually allows the light coming either from the sample or from the reference. Okay, so when the sample is sample light coming through the splitter, it can reach to the detector. In that case, it blocks the light coming from the reference. Okay, or when the sample light coming from the reference section, the splitter blocks the light coming from the sample. Okay, so simultaneously only one light will reach to the detector and finally it is recorded by the recorder, right? So when the IR source, that is incident, there are the particular mirrors are attached here. This mirror directs the light to the samples or to the reference, and this mirror helps in the direction of the light incident on the sample, right? So in the component we have the light source, the sample holders, chrome monochromator, detector and the recorder. So the light source is actually very important in this case. First is what is the incandescent lamp. So this produce the wavelength near the IR region light. Okay, mostly the nichrome wire is used, which is heated up to the 1100 degrees centigrade. Second is the Nernst glower lamp. The Nernst glower lamp is consist of the mostly the zirconium oxide or the yttrium oxide. Okay, so mostly the platinum wire is heated at this particular temperature to create the light. Gobbler lamp is actually a silicon carbide rod kind of this, okay, which is heated at this particular temperature to create the to produce the IR light. Fourth is the mercury arc lamp. This mercury arc lamp used to create the light of far infrared. Okay, is mostly closed into the quartz tube, that is the glass tubes. Okay, mercury vapor, they are heated in the order to create the lights. Okay, so these are the 4 different light sources. Now generally sample preparation, mostly we use solid, liquid or the gaseous sample, okay, in the order to analyze that. Solid sample is generally prepared by crushing the sample with the moulding agent. Moulding agent is actually the usual oil or the hydrocarbon salts. Okay, so this appropriate quantity, that is 2.5 to 2 to 5 milligrams of a sample is mixed with the drops of this mold. Okay, and the thin layer of this is prepared and applied onto the salt plate. Salt plate mostly of the sodium chloride and the potassium bromides, right? And this layer applied on the salt plate and then used into the instrument. That is for the solid sample. Liquid sample, actually liquid sample is placed in between the two salt plate. Okay, because the salt plates, they are the transparent to the higher light. Gas sample it is generally placed into the cuvette. Okay, and the concentration generally measures into the parts per million, that is the ppm. Okay. So in this way, all the three kind of a sample can be prepared to put into the instruments. Third is more important, that is the monochromator. So monochromator, we have already discussed about this. It is actually made up of a glass. Okay, they resolve the polychromatic light and send only the single wavelength kind of a light to the detector. Okay? So prism helps in the resolution of white light into the several different color light of a different wavelength, right? And only one of the wavelength light will reach to the detector, which is absorbed by the sample. That is called the prism. Diffraction gratings is very similar to the prism, right? Is actually a glass on which the different structure or rulings are made in the order to reflect the lights to the sample. Okay? So again, this is the polychromatic light coming out of the single white light. Okay, and only one kind of a light reaches to the detector. Okay? So monochromators are the instrument which resolve the polychromatic lights and send it to the only individual wavelength light to the detector. Detectors, there are two types of mostly the thermal detectors and the photonic detectors. So thermal detectors, their responses depend on the heating of the radiations. Okay, mostly the bolometer generally we use here. Now the photonic detectors, they detect the electronic excitation of atoms between the ground state and the excited state. Because of the excitation, the change in the resistivity is produced, and that is the recorded. And finally, the recorder receives the signal or the amount of a light that is from the detector. It converts into the electrical signal, and that signal is again amplified by the amplifier, and the amplified signals are then recorded and they plotted. Right. So in this way, the recorders can work. So this is all about the today's topic. Okay. So the IR spectroscopy is mostly used for the chemical analysis or determination of structure of molecules and several many other things. Right? So this IR spectroscopy is mostly used for we use the frequency of vibration of a bond, and that frequency, if it matches with the natural frequency, then the molecule can absorb the visible light, the infrared light, and that infrared light can be detected and recorded, and the results are displayed. Okay. So this is all about the IR spectroscopy. Hope this is all understand. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.